Hi friends, welcome back, welcome to Living on the Hedge. I'm Alex, and this time I will show you some new additions to a ship you well know. I'm back on the beautiful Allure of the Seas by Royal Caribbean. This is not just a cruise, because this is actually one of those crossings that I take a couple of times a year, and this one is actually a longer cruise. It's almost 2 weeks, and it's going from Spain to Florida. Now the suite you see behind me is actually one of the junior suites, which I'm sure you saw before. However, this one is a little bit different. When the ship was renovated or refreshed or reimagined, how they like to say it in Royal Caribbean, back in February this year, February 2025, they introduced a new category of suite which called the Sky Junior Suite. And those 2 weeks, it's this particular room. So it will be very interesting to see how this room actually serves its name, the Sky, what you can expect with it, how it looks like, and what this new category is all about. So of course, grab something nice to snack on, perhaps a drink, and we'll talk about everything this new ship has to offer. Let's head towards the entrance. I will show you where we are located, because uniquely those junior Sky suites are located relatively low. I am on deck number 6. Deck number 6 on Allure of the Seas is actually the lowest deck with balconies. So I am located right here. It is very, very central, very close to the back elevator stack. But yeah, deck number 6 in the center. Let me turn you around so you can see the whole room. So this being a relatively new category, the cabin is actually not the new, and it's one of the regular junior suites cabin that we all used to. But let's go ahead and explore this. This particular cabin can actually accommodate up to 5 guests, which is pretty dense, I would say, in this space. The bed as of right now, as you can see, set for what they call the Royal King. It's of course can be separated. If you're asking a room attendant, they will split those beds into separate ones and of course put one of the nightstands in between. Now of course each side has those open nightstands. There's no drawers. There's additional reading light right there. Same setup would be on the other side of the bed. However, on this side we do have the phone. Now I will point out that unfortunately there is no any charging plugins or points optional next to your bed, so we'll show you in a second where those are located. Now if I look a little bit above the bed right here, this is where one of those extra Pullman beds coming out of the ceiling. So if you have 5 people to accommodate, one of the guests will be sleeping in that space. Let me turn you around this way, and this is where you can find your makeup table, working desk, storage space, you name it, and you decide what you're gonna use it for. But this area is basically your center of your suite. This is also where you can find your TV. All those bottles of the waters, by the way, for the most parts, this is part of the package that I pre-purchased. I like to have my waters in my room. Some of those actually came as an extra, which is right here. You get 1 bottle of Avian because it's now the Sky level of suites. Let me show you a little bit of the storage here so you can see what expects for you. Behind this door we have quite a few shelves. There is 1, 2 occupied by a safe. By the way, the safe is not large enough for your laptop. This is on the smaller side. It's probably from your personal items like maybe watches or jewelry or passports, things of that sort. In addition, we have all those extra shelves all the way down. So this whole space is pretty dedicated to your shelves. Next to this we can find this long desk. This is actually a stone countertop, so that's very nice. I like those. Quite a few shelves underneath, so each side has one of the little bit shallower ones. By the way, this is where you'll find your menus for room service and breakfast. And of course we have some more here, a little bit deeper drawer here, and another one right there. Similar setup on an other side of this chair, and there's an extra similar ones here. So you will have basically 2 of those on the right hand side. Now behind this door right here we will find our mini fridge right there. Nothing too big, but definitely cools well. At least it feels very cool inside. So that's nice if you have maybe a need to cool a bottle of wine or something of that sort. Now on top of those drawers we have downstairs, up here we have quite a few mirrors. There's one right here, there's one right here, there's one here. So there's a lot of those. And as you can see, there's also additional storage. So behind those mirrors, we can open those. There's some more shelving. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves right there. And the same setup would be on the other side. Now, being this junior suite, and not necessarily even if it's a Sky Junior suite or not, all junior suites comes with an espresso maker. This is not any different. So I'm very, very happy to see that I have my Lavazza maker here, especially having such a long cruise. It's almost 2 weeks going from Europe to US. So yes, you get your Lavazza maker. Of course, you have your regular pods. With the regular coffee, you have your decaffeinated. And for those who prefer tea, they actually even provided a teapot right there with some tea bags for your convenience. Now let me turn you towards the other side of the room, and this is what I call the living space of this suite. And this area is basically your lounging area. So you will find your sofa right here, and this sofa also opens into a queen sleeper sofa. And again, if you have extra guests, more than two can be accommodated right here, with additional one right here, as I showed you before, in this pull-out bed. But showing you back this lounging area, we have of course the sofa, we have a coffee table, and we have this armchair. And I will say they're not exactly the newest fabric or newest condition, but they all in good condition. And I do like the way, you know, it's arranged, because even though it's probably the entry-level suites, this is just the junior suite, it feels very, very spacious here to hang around in this space. So I'm not sure about 5 people, but if it's 2 or even 3, I think it would be very comfortable. Now, I do like how right here we have additional shelf. It's kind of like this small table hanging on the wall. You have some flowers here, even though they're not exactly real, but we have flowers. And there's, of course, additional mirror, so you can see me. Hi, friends. So yeah, this space, as you can see, is pretty large. Now I would like to point out that right here in the living space, you will find also this connecting door right here. This particular room is a connecting room, so it connects to additional junior suites. I'm not sure if the other one is actually Sky Junior Suites or a regular one, but this is your connecting room. It will be interesting to see towards the end of this trip how this connecting room works. Could I hear the neighbors from the other side or not? But I will talk about it at the end of this video. Okay. Now let me show you, friends, where you are about to store your clothes, because as you probably know, Junior Suites in Royal Caribbean known for their massive storage space. Now, before that, there is additional mirror right here, which is a pretty tall one, ceiling to floor, so you can very conveniently get ready for the night out. But right across from it, we have the door right here. Now let me go ahead and open the door for you. Behind this door, my friends, is your walk-in closet. Yes, I know it's very unexpected, but you do have a full-size walk-in closet in those junior suites. And again, this is for both in a regular junior suites and the Sky Junior Suites. They all will have the same storage space. By the way, you will also have this additional bathrobe. This is one of the amenities you get for the Sky Suites guest. But yes, plenty of storage. You do have this long rod here for hanging. Crazy amount of shelves right here. You have a lot of those, so definitely nothing lacking of storage. Now, if you were not satisfied with just this bar on the top, you have additional one here. You can, as always, drop this kind of like bar down and have additional hanging space. Now, also I will mention that this is also where you will find the ladder here to use for an access for that Pullman bed that coming out from the floor, from the ceiling. So yeah, your room attendant will of course use this at night when they turn your room. Alrighty, we saw the majority places in this cabin. Let's go ahead and explore the bathroom. The bathroom is actually located right here, friends, next to your entrance to the right hand side when you enter. Let me open the door for you and let's see how the bathroom looks like. So this is the bathroom in the junior suite. As you can see, we have an actual full-size tub right here. Unfortunately, still a curtain. There is no door. but it feels very, very spacious. We have handheld shower right there with, of course, some storage shelves on this side. And as you can see, they did upgrade the amenities here for Melangoits, like in all the Sky Suites on board. Let me turn you this way so you can see the whole size of this tub. And as you can see on the other side, there's additional shelf for your personal items. Now, across from your tub is also where you will find your sink and the countertop. Again, this is a stone countertop, so it's a little bit upgraded compared to the regular balcony rooms. Underneath, there's some additional storage. We have this one open space right there with a trash can. And on top, we have some extra shelving right next to your mirror. This is another mirror, and this is some shelving. So we have 3 shelves right there, and a very tiny but cutesy drawer right here for your personal small items. Okay, friends, let's go head back towards the living space, the suite itself. And I want to point something out. As you can see, we have kind of like those 2 windows here. One is a wider and a little bit narrow one next to the sofa. Your exit to the balcony would be, of course, the wider opening, and all the rest is basically windows. But I do appreciate those because they give you some extra feeling of some extra light and some extra space in your room. So this is very, very nice. But without keeping you holding any further, let's go ahead and explore the balcony. Welcome to your junior suite balcony, friends. This is definitely spacious. Let me turn you around so you can see everything it has. On this balcony we can find a dining table with 2 chairs. We have even 2 loungers, and this is the width of the whole space that we have. I'm not sure the camera can actually show everything, but it definitely feels wide and deep enough for lounging and enjoying your balcony. And by the way, this is the view that currently is seen from the port in Barcelona. Well, friends, first of all, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope it gave you some understanding and perspective how the junior suite looks like. And as you could see, there is no much different really in the suite itself, because that Sky Junior Suite is in reality one of those junior suites that actually always been on this ship or any other cruise ship for Royal Caribbean. But there are definitely some differences. So I would like to talk about that and share with you so you can have better understanding and help you decide, is this something that you perhaps want to consider? So let's begin first of all with the original junior suite, which is basically what they call the C class. The regular junior suites, they normally basically offer you perhaps priority embarkation and disembarkation, twice day service in your room. Your room basically will be turned out twice a day, and you have an espresso maker in your room. For the most part, that's all you have. You also have access for the coastal kitchen dinner, but it's only based on availability and if space allows. So this is something that's not guaranteed, it's not confirmed. It's something you definitely need to talk to the maitre d' in the coastal kitchen and see if they can accommodate. So those are the benefits for the regular junior suite. Now, the new Sky Junior Suite basically allows you to have access for all, or to be exact, most of the benefits that all higher suites has to offer. And I'll start with, first of all, of course, you have the priority embarkation and disembarkation with the suites, which normally used to be from the Grand Suite and above. So you, of course, can use either the, if it depends on the port, of course, either they have a lounge on the priority lines for the embarkation at the port. You also have the access for the coastal kitchen and for the suites lounge. Whether you are on Allure of the Seas or on the cruise ships, anything they have to offer for the Sky Suites is actually covered and comes with your Sky Junior Suite. I will say there's one thing that you have to remember, and this is, as of at least right now, the one thing that is not included with the Sky Junior Suite, and this is the unlimited one device internet per guest for those rooms. For all of the rooms from Grand Suite and above, you do get one free device of internet for the duration of your cruise. Unfortunately, with the Sky Junior Suites, it's not the case. So this is just something to keep in mind. I didn't find a lot of other things that are not included because, again, it basically allows you to have access for the full variety of the offerings that there are for the suites. Now, for those who asked me before, do you still get the welcome letter from the concierge if you would be, for example, in a higher end suite like Grand or Owner or even Skylofts? Yes, you do. You definitely get the welcome letter. The concierge is there to assist you with any reservations you might need. You're being treated basically like any other full suite service guest. There is no difference. As far as the room goes, I would say that the rooms didn't go through any really change or refurbishment or adaptation to this new category. The only difference that I actually noticed would be probably in the cosmetic products, because as you know, in the regular junior suites they receive the 3 products, but they all by Royal Caribbean, the C something. The Sky Junior Suites, they do have now the same products as the Grand Suites and above, and you do receive the Melian Goetz products. So if this is something that's important to you and will help you pack better with your needs for those suites, just keep it in mind, yes, those are the products that you receive now in the Sky Junior Suites. Now, speaking about products, there was a very nice touch that I actually received with the suite, because some of the nights there would be, during the turn down service, there would be some amenities that were waiting for me over my bed, and I would like to share those with you. So for example, a couple of the nights, and this actually happened several times, I received this, I hope the camera can show you this, here we go. It's kind of like a coconut flavored lip balm, and then another night there was this shower balm, so you received that. Then I received some very tiny but cute aloe vera tube here, and last and probably my favorite is the cucumber patches for your eyes. Very nice touch. This is definitely not something I expected for. Now, if you watched my previous video about I think the owner suite on Jewel of the Seas, in October there was something new that was kind of like introduced on Royal Caribbean, and those are kind of welcome gifts for the Sky Suites or for the suite level. So I haven't received any of those. For example, things like luggage tags, special like the leatherette ones like before. But yeah, those cosmetic products are very cute, and it definitely gives you this a little bit of a upscaled feeling for the experience you have here. Now let's talk about the location of those suites. Royal Caribbean is actually saying that the Sky Junior Suites were selected to be the most desirable and best locations on board of the ship, and only those particular ones were basically designated as the Sky Junior Suites. My category was basically a guarantee, so I couldn't particularly choose my room. It's one of those categories when they basically tell you exactly what you're gonna get, but they will decide which rooms to assign you to. And as you saw, I was assigned the suite on deck number 6, which is actually the lowest deck from all of the decks with the balconies. And my room is actually, as you saw on the video, has a connecting door. Those things were kind of a little bit worrying me because, again, it's 2-week cruise. I wasn't sure how the connecting door situation will go as far as the soundproof and stuff like that. And also, to be honest, never been on the lowest deck, because usually I tend to choose my cabin to be central and as high as possible, but not on the very top, just not to be exactly underneath the pool. So I would like to share something that I was actually surprised. I was actually surprised with deck number 6, because deck number 6, even though it's very low, it's the lowest deck on all the balconies, because the ship is so large, deck number 6, when you go to your balcony, is still very high above the sea. So you definitely feel up there. It doesn't matter if you're on 6 or 7 or 8 or even higher. So that was not a problem at all. I was really surprised with really how convenient deck 6 is, because as you know, on those ships they're larger. Yes, there are of course much more elevators and stuff like that, but there's also much more guests. And for that reason, you can find yourself waiting perhaps for the elevators a little bit longer. Deck 6 for me was extremely convenient because it's very central located, and you almost can walk really anywhere. The promenade was right there, one deck below. The schooners bars was right there. The carousel, the playmakers, which we'll talk about in a second. The aqua show was right there on the deck. If I wanted to go to the theater, I will just go forward inside of my deck, and you know, one deck down on deck 5 and 4 are again the main theater. So I actually was really surprised with the location of deck number 6. And perhaps I do agree with Royal Caribbean that this is one of the more desirable locations for those suites. Now let's talk about that connecting door that I mentioned before that was kind of worrying me out. I will say that no, it didn't really bother me, but I will say it didn't really bother me because I think that I had pretty amazing neighbors who were very, very considerate. And even though I never met them, even though I could hear some voices and stuff like that, they were always very thoughtful and respectful, and there was nothing that really bothered my 2 weeks here. I hope they feel the same on my end, but if it really depends who would be on the other side. Those rooms, those connecting doors are not something that sounds really proof. So just keep in mind when you're choosing, if you have the ability to choose your suite and you're looking for more privacy and perhaps to ensure that you have more quiet space, I probably would stay away from the connecting door because this is something that can actually expose you to potential noise from the other side. Now, speaking about noise, another thing that I want to point out is because those suites are very, very centrally located, and as I mentioned, relatively low on the decks, you are located really right above the stabilizers of the ship. For that reason, if there's very rough seas or the ship is taking a higher speed during her voyage, you actually might hear the operation of those balancing devices. It's nothing crazy, it's not something that's really vibrating and shaking your whole room, but there is this some sort of humming noise that perhaps if you're sensitive to noise, can affect you during the night. Didn't bother me personally. It was kind of like, gray background noise, so it wasn't anything particularly bothering for me. But it's just something you need to keep in mind when you're choosing your cabins, again, because this is something that dependable to the location. So yes, friends, for the most part, we covered everything this new-ish category has to offer. And I will say that it's kind of exactly what it is. I'm not sure really why Royal Caribbean decided to remove the benefit of the internet from those particular suites, but I guess there has to be some sort of change or difference between them and the other category of cabins. If you ask me, is it worth it? Do I feel like it's something that's really a great addition? It really depends on the price, because from when I went online, usually the difference in price between this category and the Grand Suite, in my opinion, is really not that high. And when we're talking about a couple of hundreds of dollars between this suite and the Grand Suite, personally, I would probably prefer the Grand Suites because you do feel much, well, grand feeling in those suites. I think they're more luxurious, I think they're more convenient. Nothing wrong with this room. I really like the juniors, especially for example, the walk-in closet. This is wonderful. But it's all a question, again, of price. So if you find a price that it's good for you, that you find that it's actually worth for you the extra, then definitely do that, because as you can see on a bigger ship, there's a lot of things that are included with your sky level suites. And that's, of course, the coastal kitchen. Depends, of course, if you get or doesn't get internet, the access for the lounge, which is amazing because you can access and kind of like escape sometimes the crowds on a port day, and especially if it's a longer cruise. You have the access for your concierges that can help a lot with dining reservation, with shows reservation, stuff like that. You also have the suites decks, which is, again, very, very convenient during those busy days when everybody's trying to be around the pool. And of course, you have your priority embarkation and disembarkation, so this whole sky level definitely elevates your vacation. So again, as always with everything, I think the question is, if the price is right, I would definitely choose it. Now I want to recap quickly what additional stuff that were added to this ship in February, because they call it basically the new revamp ship. I don't think that necessarily for me the ship was totally revamped. There were a few changes that were done and added, and for example, the champagne bar on deck number 5 was changed, and now it's a tiki parrot bar, so that's very nice. I actually really enjoy that. It's a bar you can find on Utopia nowadays, so that's very nice. They also, of course, added the slide in the back of deck number 6, right by the Aqua Theater. Also, in the same area, instead of having the Mexican restaurant, now we have the Playmakers, which is one of my personal favorites bars on board any ship, so that's a change. Additional change that I really welcome is the addition of the mason jar restaurant and bar. That's very nice. We have it here now on deck number 5 back. Another change that I'm not sure how I feel about is basically the change of the crown lounge that used to be, I think it's deck number 12 and 11. Now deck number 12 and 11, it's all dedicated just for new interior cabins, with some of them facing the back. And the lounge was relocated into the same deck number 15 facing the back. I think it's a little bit nicer than most of other Royal Caribbean Oasis class ships because it's no longer in this enclosed deck number 4 without windows, but it's still a smaller space, not as massive as it used to be, spreading on 2 decks on Allure of the Seas. Now it's much smaller, however now it has windows that face in the back. Those are, well, and some I think, sorry, the slides, of course, around the pool, those were also added. For the most parts, I will say those are the major differences and additions that were done to the ship. There was no actual change to the rooms, there was no refurbishment to the rooms. I didn't see much changes around the public areas and spaces. And for that reason, I think the ship is still in a good shape, of course, and I welcome very much all those changes and additions that were done. But I don't really feel like the ship was totally revamped per se. So this is just something not there to scare you off or tell you something is wrong. It's absolutely not, but just kind of, I think that matching expectation before you book in and arriving on board, not to be disappointed, is very important. So this is just something to keep in mind. So yes, my friends, for the most part, I hope I was able to cover most of the things about the newish category of the Sky Junior Suites, some information about the new additions for the Allure in general. Of course, as always, if you have any questions, something you would like to share, your personal opinion, I'm always happy to read your comments. At this moment, I would like to just ask you, please, to click that link below and subscribe and share those videos so I can keep doing what I like to do most. But I would like to also thank you for taking the time to watch the video. And until next time, I'm your Hatch.